uncovering the secrets of landrace strains.
Love those.
Yeah, right. I know you do.
Absolutely.
We'll be tackling that whole confusing indica versus sativa thing.
Oh, yeah.
And even taking a peek into the future with, wait for it, genetically modified cannabis.
The future is now.
Seriously. So first things first,
All right.
landrace strains.
Yes.
I mean, just picture it. Cannabis growing wild for centuries, like in the Himalayas
Thousands of years.
or even the African savanna, untouched, totally natural.
That's what landrace strains are all about.
They're like the OG cannabis.
Exactly. They evolve naturally in specific regions, adapting to their environment over time.
So like, how did that work? Like, what kind of impact did all that adapting have?
Well, think about it like this. You know those finches that Darwin studied?
Oh, yeah. The Galapagos?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that, but with cannabis.
Okay.
The plants that survived and thrived, the ones that could handle the specific climate.
They passed on their genes.
Right. And that created these distinct varieties with unique characteristics.
So like super strong in super harsh conditions.
Exactly. Resistance to cold in the mountains, maybe, or drought tolerance in arid regions.
Fascinating. So each landrace strain is like a snapshot
Oh, absolutely.
of its place of origin.
Each one tells a story about the environment it came from.
So cool. And I know there's some pretty iconic landrace strains out there.
Oh, tons. Like take Thai, for instance, from Thailand, right?
Mm.
Known for its uplifting, energetic high, very cerebral.
Okay.
Then you have Afghani from Afghanistan, and it's prized for its relaxing, sedative effects.
So it's all about where they're from.
Yep, that origin plays a huge role in their characteristics.
Makes sense. And it makes you think about the whole indica versus sativa debate.
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one.
Because most people, they hear indica, they think relaxation, couch lock,
Right.
And sativa, that's the energetic, uplifting stuff.
Yeah, those are the common perceptions.
But I've got to be honest, sometimes I get those totally mixed up.
Well, it's not as straightforward as it seems.
Okay, so break it down for me.
Well, the truth is pure indica and sativa strains are actually super rare these days.
Really?
Yeah, most of what we see is a hybrid, a mix of both.
So it's like blurred lines.
Exactly. It's more of a spectrum than two distinct categories.
So how did that happen? How did everything become so mixed?
Well, it's all about breeding, intentional crossbreeding by growers.
Ah, so they're like combining traits.
Exactly. They're looking for specific flavors, aromas, and effects.
So like they're creating these super strains.
In a way, yeah. They're blending the best of both worlds.
That's so cool. But it also makes it even harder to know what to expect, right?
Well, that's the thing. The effects of cannabis, they aren't just determined by whether it's more indica or sativa.
Okay.
It's much more complex than that.
So what else is going on?
Well, there are these things called cannabinoids and terpenes.
I've heard of those, but remind me.
Sure. So cannabinoids are like the chemical compounds in cannabis, like THC.
The one that gets you high.
Right. And then there's CBD, which doesn't have that psychoactive effect.
And it's all the rage these days.
For a good reason.
Yeah.
But terpenes, they're also super important.
What do they do?
They're what give cannabis its unique aromas and flavors, that skunky smell, the citrusy notes.
Okay.
And get this, they actually interact with the cannabinoids, influencing the effects.
So it's like a team effort.
Exactly. It's a complex symphony of compounds working together, which is why it can be so hard to predict how a specific strain will affect you.
It's like a whole chemistry experiment happening in your body.
Pretty much. And speaking of science...
You're going there.
Yep. Let's talk genetically modified cannabis.
Whoa, okay. Things are about to get futuristic.
Hold on tight. We're talking about scientists literally tweaking the DNA of cannabis plants.
How is that even possible?
They're using these incredible tools like CRISPR. It's a gene editing technology.
I've heard of that, but I don't really understand it.
Well, in simple terms, it allows scientists to cut and paste specific genes to create strains with very specific characteristics.
Whoa, so they're like designing the perfect cannabis plant.
In a way, yes. They can enhance certain traits and even create new ones.
So like what kind of things are they doing with this?
Well, one major area is manipulating cannabinoid profiles.
Union.
They can create strains with higher levels of specific cannabinoids like CBG.
And that one's good for.
It's thought to have anti-inflammatory properties, among other things.
Wow. So they can really fine-tune the medicinal potential.
Exactly. They can also target THCV, which is being studied for its appetite-suppressive effects.
Interesting. So it's not just about getting high anymore.
No, not at all. It's about harnessing the plant's full potential, both medically and recreationally.
Okay, so they can tweak the cannabinoids. What else?
Well, they're also working on making cannabis more sustainable
Oh, so.
by engineering strains that are resistant to pests and mold.
So less need for pesticides.
Exactly. They're also exploring ways to increase yield and make the plants grow faster.
More bang for your buck, basically.
You got it. And all of this could have a huge impact on the cannabis industry, making it more efficient and affordable.
That's mind-blowing. But I mean, it's messing with the very building blocks of life.
That's true, and it's important to be cautious.
Yeah.
We need to carefully consider the potential risks and ethical implications.
Right. Because who knows what could happen? It's new territory.
Absolutely. But it's also incredibly exciting. The possibilities are almost endless.
It's like the future of weed is here.
It's happening right now. We've come a long way from those ancient landrace strains.
Seriously. From mountainsides to high-tech labs, it's an incredible journey.
It really is. So, now that you know all about the power of genetic engineering,
Hmm.
I have a question for you.
Hit me.
If you could design your own cannabis strain,
Whoa.
what would it be like? What kind of characteristics would it have?
That's a tough one. I mean, there are so many possibilities now.
That's the beauty of it. It's a new frontier,
Yep.
and we're just scratching the surface.
I'd probably go for something that, like, boosts creativity, but without the paranoia.
Interesting. I can see it now, the creative flow strain.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Who knows? Maybe one day that'll be a reality.
With the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised.
This has been an amazing deep dive. Honestly, my mind is blown.
It's always fascinating to explore the world of cannabis.
For sure. And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.
We'll be here to dive deep into anything that sparks your curiosity.
Until next time.